Hello and welcome to Kids Camp Presents. I'm your host for the program. My name is Brad Whitworth and thanks for joining us today. With me in the studio are four guests from a program called Teen Challenge. So to my immediate left, Tiffany Clark, who's a director here in the San Jose area. Next to her, Nicole Johnson, a student with Teen Challenge from the San Jose area. Next to Nicole is Yashna Barrett, who's a student in the Oakland program. And to his left, your right, is Jay Patterson, a director for Teen Challenge in the East Bay. And we're going to spend a few minutes talking a little bit about Teen Challenge and the program and what it means to some people and the services it provides. So I'd like to start, Jay, by asking you, this program, Teen Challenge, got to start about 50 years ago. It's a global program, but it's also one that a lot of people don't know about. So maybe you could explain a little bit about the program and its mission.
Yes. Well, Teen Challenge was started in 1958 by the late David Wilkerson, a country preacher from Pennsylvania who saw some teenagers who were on trial for murder in New York City. So he left and he went there and he offered another solution, which was not incarceration. So thus was the first Teen Challenge was started. And today in the nation we have 225 centers and over 1,000 worldwide. Teen Challenge provides successful recovery for men, women, children, adolescents, teenagers, families that struggle with abusive and destructive lifestyles through mentoring, education, training, and spiritual direction.
So the program did get its start in New York City, the East Coast, but California was one of the first places where it expanded and grew up starting in about the 1960s. So maybe Tiffany, you could tell us a little bit about the presence here in Northern California today because it's quite extensive.
Yes, sir. I am the director for the San Jose Women and Children's Facility. It's called Alum Rock, and also the director for the Asbury Family Center, which is here in San Jose, where a whole family unit can come together and get help and not be separated. We also have Oakland Men's Center, where Jay is the director, where they house over 40 men. And we also have a Vallejo Men's Center, and we also, this is stepping outside of California, but we have an Adolescent Boys Center in Reno, Nevada.
So while the name Teen Challenge includes the name teen, clearly the services are provided a lot further than that, and the numbers are quite impressive too. This is not a small organization when you start looking at here in the Bay Area and worldwide.
Yes, sir. We are in over 93. We're in 93 countries, and there's 27,000 beds in Teen Challenge available for people who want to get help, and that is yearly. The 27,000 beds every year. There's more people coming in and getting help.
In some ways, the whole program of Teen Challenge is sort of a well-kept secret. Maybe you could tell us how people do find out about Teen Challenge when there is a need that needs to be filled. How do people find Teen Challenge?
Well, through word of mouth and also through advertising through the different churches. We also work closely with a lot of the departments of corrections and different court systems who refer people to Teen Challenge as an alternative sentencing option. Sometimes they feel that, repeat offenders, with drug abuse, alcohol abuse, they see that the incarceration is not working. So, how about if we modify that and we put you in Teen Challenge and where they're going to mentor and train you so that you don't have to continue down this path. And so that is one of the options too.
We can also be found on the internet at teenchallenge.net. And sometimes you'll also see some of our students in front of stores or in the residential area talking with people.
And let's hope some people watch the show and learn a little bit more about Teen Challenge and find out about you guys from that and
Yes,
get in
sir.
touch.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm sure it's rewarding for both of you to see that you're making a difference in people's lives every day. So maybe you could share a story, and then we could also hear from Nicole and Yashna about what Teen Challenge means to them. But maybe, Tiffany, why don't you just sort of describe, how you felt a difference in helping make a significant change in someone's life?
Yes, sir. Teen Challenge is a program that you have to have a lot of commitment in order to finish. It's a 12 to 18 month program. So you have to have a strong commitment to make that change in your life in order to be in Teen Challenge. We had a girl come in 6 years ago who had struggled with addiction for 18 years. She was a survivor of sexual abuse and rape, and she had struggled with substance abuse, like I said, for 18 years, and she came in very, very broken and thought that there was no hope for her life. And she completed the program strong with her children, left Teen Challenge after she completed it, went back to college and got in the medical field and actually started giving back to the community and helping other people come into Teen Challenge and get help. So when you see lives turn around like that, it's very, very exciting. And that's why we specifically wanted to bring Nicole and Yashna to come share their stories with you.
So, Nicole, tell us your story. How did you find out of the program, and what's it mean in your life?
Well, Teen Challenge, first of all, means hope to me. I struggled with drugs and alcohol for 8 years. I grew up in a very dysfunctional home. My mom was a meth addict and just led a very promiscuous lifestyle. And I started using drugs when I was 12 years old. I went to my first recovery program at 15 after I had gone through some sexual abuse. I was just really deep into my addiction, and it took me to some pretty low places. And by the time I got out of my recovery program, I went back into that same lifestyle. I was smoking meth with my mom and just living a horrible lifestyle. And I got pregnant when I was 16. And I married my husband at 17, and I knew that I wanted to provide a better life for my son, but I still had a lot of baggage that I was carrying around, and I ended up getting introduced to heroin, and I started intravenously using heroin. It just seemed like an endless, vicious cycle that I couldn't get out of, and my husband's family knew about Teen Challenge from their church, and they told us about it, and I was pretty hesitant at first, but I came in about a year ago pretty broken and hopeless and in need of a lot of help. And Teen Challenge, I'm just so grateful for the grace of God and for Teen Challenge helping me restore my family. I've received my son back into my care, and they just provide a safe and stable environment for us to take responsibility for our actions and to receive help and training. And I'm very grateful for what it's done in my life and my family's. So.
Sounds like the right program at the right time for you.
Yes.
And Yashna, tell us about Teen Challenge and how you found out about the organization.
Well, I found out, actually, I didn't know Teen Challenge existed. Somebody I knew did, and they knew from someone fundraising, like as Tiffany was talking about. But my story kind of begins with my parents and my grandparents, just a line of addiction and kind of hopelessness and family situations. My mom was a hardcore meth addict, and she had a lot of kids. I have 8 siblings, and so with that came homelessness with her children. Me and my siblings and her bouncing from house to house. Been in a lot of different foster homes, just carried a lot of pain around with me wherever I went, a lot of brokenness, a lot of hopelessness. Didn't know how to deal with it. Got adopted when I was 9 years old, actually into a loving family, but couldn't, like I said, couldn't handle the pain that the previous, places I stayed and people I encountered and abuse I experienced. Couldn't carry it with me without acting out, without being the problem child. And so, ultimately it led when I was 15 to expulsions from schools and stuff, and ultimately getting into drugs and alcohol. And at 18, actually, I developed a meth addiction, and that ultimately brought me into the program. But like I said, it was when I knew I needed help and when I knew I wanted help and I wanted to change. It was Teen Challenge that was there for me to go to, and that was September 23rd of last year. So. I've came a long way and experienced a lot of change and a lot of hope in my life. Came back. So.
Well, thank you both for sharing very, very personal stories, but that's part of it. And maybe I could ask Jay to describe what's a day like in the program for Yashna or Nicole.
Okay. Well, Teen Challenge, and emphasis on the word challenge. The day starts out at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they start out when they wake up, and they do. They go to the chapel and they have worship, and we have guest speakers that come in from all over the Bay Area and volunteer to speak and to share. And then they go to class after that, and they have class, and then then they go to breakfast, and they have chores and work study and different things of that nature, which keep them occupied. There's hardly any idle time at all during the week, and so it is definitely a challenge. It's not Teen Easy, it's Teen Challenge. And so it's one of the most successful programs of its kind with an 86% success rate. That means 5 years after someone has graduated the full program, 86% are still living successful lives in the community, and that's pretty amazing. When most secular programs, the highest stat they have is 16%.
Very impressive, and an impressive program overall. Now, I'm sure it's not easy to run something as large as this. What are some of the biggest challenges that are facing Teen Challenge? Because running a big program is not never easy for a not-for-profit organization.
Correct. A lot of times it's the same thing with all nonprofit organizations. It's a funding issue a lot of times, staffing issue, being able to have enough hands on deck. That's one of the things that we say at our centers is it's all hands on deck, everybody is needed. And it's helping the students, it's helping them do what they need to do so they can be who they really want to be, and it's helping them just getting people on board to do the program correctly and get the help and healing that they need. And one of the biggest challenges as a director is probably, you pour into their lives day after day. You are with them and you walk with them, you eat with them, you're right beside them in the trenches. And when, if they make a decision to leave, that's one of the hardest things that we have to deal with as a director. But we have our arms open and we're willing to work with them and help them back. So.
Now you mentioned funds, because fundraising is an important way to keep the program going. Where are most of your funds coming from? Individual donations, grants? All sorts. I'm sure you don't turn down any money that's coming your way, but where do you go normally to get the funds to run Teen Challenge?
I'll help with that, and I'll also have Jay help with that. But we do private donations. We do that. Our girls at San Jose Teen Challenge, they make jewelry. They make beautiful jewelry, and there is at our teenchallenge.net website, there's also a link they can click on to order jewelry online. We've cleaned houses, we've done car washes. Our students and staff, we are hard workers, and so we just...
Yeah. And, in the men's center, we direct most of it towards, we have a work-study program, which means we're hired on to do landscaping, do different construction jobs, things of that nature. We also have a car wash. We have 2 thrift stores represented here today. We have the South Bay Thrift Store on San Carlos, and we have the Concord Thrift Store at the Chestnut Plaza. And this is where the students are actually to facilitate this. The students work there under the supervision of a store manager, and so it gives them the ability to get some experience as well working in retail. And this also provides funds for the program. We also work we look for grants and things of that nature. Private donations as well are always accepted and smiled upon.
Now, in lots of organizations, there are volunteers. Besides the paid staff who are part of things, are there volunteers, and what kinds of roles do they play in Teen Challenge?
We have lots of volunteers. We had a thing called Compassion Weekend at our center where a bunch of people came out. They painted the facility. We've had people come out and make meals. We've had people help teach parenting classes, landscaping. How about at your facility, Jay?
At our facility, we have similar. We got our floor remodeled and things of that nature, painting and so forth, and just different people in the community that want to be a part of Teen Challenge and they want to be a part of what's going on in these people's lives and so forth. So we also have people that come in and they offer counseling and group counseling and things of that nature. So we have. It's just amazing, how much the community surrounds and takes us into their own desires to help people, and they want to. They show up and they just pour into the students. It's great.
I think the thing that's really helpful is with volunteers, people want to make a difference in the world. They really do. And when a volunteer steps on campus and they see the day-to-day life that the students are living and the fight that they're fighting to change their lives, they get very engaged, and it's just a wonderful gift to Teen Challenge.
Now, if I were sitting at home and watching this program and hearing the stories and said, I think I'd really like to be a volunteer, how do I go about connecting with Teen Challenge? What's the best way?
You go to teenchallenge.net, and then you can download a volunteer application and fax it in to whichever center you're interested in working in, and we'll get a hold of you.
Now, there's 7 centers. Do you serve geographic areas in particular? Do the students usually come from that territory to a particular center, or how?
Sometimes, in some cases, they do. And a lot of times we have students that come from clear across the nation. We have students that are, from Brazil, from Canada, you name it. And sometimes it is the best option because a student needs to be away from their neighborhood because the temptation to leave when it gets challenging, which it will, is not there. Because they say, okay, well, I'm way out here on the other side of the country. I need to just deal with what's going on and the change in my life. When students come in, the smoking, the drinking, the drugs, all that stops at the gate. And so now we're working on character qualities, we're working on integrity, we're working on punctuality, we're working on things that are going to make a difference to make them successful community citizens.
Maybe we could hear from the students a little bit about a day in the life that you've experienced. We've heard that it starts early and there aren't many moments to spare, but what's it like for you?
For me, I stay at the San Jose Family Center with my husband and my 3-year-old son, so it's definitely busy every day, but and challenging. We wake up early, we work hard every day, and we get all kinds of classing and counseling, and we get marriage counseling, and we just work on getting better and changing our lives. And I get home and I put my son down to bed, and that's a day.
Ready for the next one? And
Yes.
Yashna, what's it like at the Oakland Center on a daily basis for you?
It's pretty much Jay covered it, but along with the schedule and along with the things that are coming up that you need to work on is more what I look at in the program, because there's 30-something students in the Oakland's Men's Center right now, so that's over 30 people that you can run to when things start to come up. So along with waking up at 6, chapel, whatever you're going, work, study, whatever you're doing that day, when those things come up where it gets challenging, you have 30 people pulling you along and helping you out and making sure that you can get through it without walking out the door or breaking down, or they're just there for you. And I think that's the one part of the schedule that can get overlooked easily, and that's the best that's the best thing. That's what keeps you going in the program. So.
When they were talking about being able to pull from somebody else and get the help they need, anything in your life, when you want to make a change with something that's been enmeshed in your life, whether it's a food addiction, drug addiction, whatever it is, it's very, very hard work. And I'm sure you know as well that you need that support and that encouragement, and that really is our arms are open to them, and their arms are open to each other. And the blessing I wanted to share with you guys about the center that we're at in San Jose is that we had 4 babies born this year drug-free. We had a set of twins and a little girl and a little boy born on Christmas Day. So we're very, very blessed to see them come through the program and then have their babies clean and sober, and then they're just becoming great parents, and it's just very, very exciting.
Yeah. Now, do you ever hear from some of the graduates, people who've been through the program and a few years later? Because that
Yes.
must be a rewarding feeling as well.
Yes, you definitely hear from them. You definitely hear from them.
Yeah. And Jay, do you have some people that
Yes.
you stay in touch with, and a story?
Yes, weekly I stay in touch with them. Whether they go back to the other side of the country, I still keep in touch weekly, and they want to call me, or I call them if I don't hear from them, and follow up and say, how are you doing, and how's it going, are you working, and things of that nature, and they keep them accountable and know that I'm thinking about them. So do keep that relationship open.
And as you said, you have a success story of someone you're sort of proud of. It's like, they were there and now they're here, and they've made a major change in their life.
Sure. I do have a success story. There was a student that came in, and just like anybody else, he has his testimony that's being made. And after he completed the program, he went and worked with another place. He's been going to Haiti. He's been going around the world, global missions and things of that nature. And I still get to hear from him on Facebook and things of that nature. And so it's just awesome to see the fruit of our labor.
A really exciting thing also at the Family Center is that Nicole's husband was also a student in the program, and he just completed the program and has actually started an internship, which is where the student takes the time to give back into the program and into other students that are coming in for 6 months. And he's helping run the thrift store, so he's learning retail work experience, and he's raising his little boy with his wife, and just an awesome success story. So.
Yeah. Well, Teen Challenge sounds like a solid program, and it's global, so it's going to be very, very important for us to be able to continue to spread the word. Now,
Yes,
are there how big is the organization outside of the Bay Area? I mean, where do you see pockets of Teen Challenge? I mean, are they in major metropolitan areas? What
yes.
geographies do you find the program?
All over
Yeah.
the place, nationwide. We're also in India, we're in the Philippines. They're starting a women's center or men's center in Jerusalem. So like we are literally global. We are all over.
There's hardly any place that Teen Challenge is not needed. There's countries that we don't have a Teen Challenge that are on a waiting list to get one there. Teen Challenge actually is the national advisor for the drug epidemic in the White House in Washington, D.C. So they recognize that whatever Teen Challenge is doing is working, and we want to be a part of that. And so they totally endorse this.
Now, the program continues to grow. I mean, you're adding more beds.
Yes, sir.
Do you guys have a plan for the future? I mean, it's also one of those where you almost wish it didn't have to grow, but
Yes.
there's a need, and so it's wherever the need is, you're going to be
Meet
there.
the need. Yeah, Teen Challenge is ready to meet the need head on. We don't run from the problem, we run to the problem. We have the solution and we want to be that help. We would love to start an adolescent girls facility. And then we also have an outreach right now in Las Vegas, Nevada, so we're hoping to start a center there in Las Vegas. And also we would absolutely like to expand our facilities and get much bigger facilities. There's always constantly phone calls and letters coming in from correctional facilities of people crying out for help and looking for a solution. And the reason that Teen Challenge is more than a 30-day program is 30 days doesn't cut it for something that you've been involved in year after year of your life. It's a pattern. And so we have Teen Challenge, the way Teen Challenge is set up is so that it is 365 days you are making a choice to do something different with your life. And it is literally changing mindsets and habits. Some of the people that come in, they do not know how to do chores. They've never lived in a healthy home. They don't know how to communicate or how to handle conflict correctly. And so those are the things that we get in the trenches with. Some have never learned how to cook, so they learn how to cook there. So we are there, arms wide open, and we definitely want to expand.
And it's a tremendous program. Maybe you could also tell us a little bit about sort of the connections to the church. I mean, because it is a part of a giant movement. I mean, prayer and faith is an important piece
Absolutely.
of Teen Challenge. So perhaps you could explain a little bit more about that, Jen.
Yes, it is a faith-based organization,
Absolutely.
and our curriculum is geared toward dealing with spiritual issues, things of that nature. So, it's like says to someone that comes to the program for 1 year is equivalent to someone going to church twice a week for 10 years. Getting the same biblical knowledge, but we know that just the knowledge is not enough, but it's the application, how to apply these biblical principles in your life, and this thus leads to a successful Christian life in the community.
Also, one of the things, when we say we're a faith-based organization, if somebody has maybe a different faith or somebody doesn't have faith at all, we will absolutely not push them away or turn them away. Our arms are open and we're ready and willing to help, period.
So the program really does take care of the entire person, from
Yes, sir.
Yes.
spiritual needs to physical needs to dealing with some
Emotional.
very, very difficult medical issues in some instances as well.
Yeah, we do not have medical staff on site, but we do have like clinics and hospitals, things that we will help people get to if they have a medical need.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds as if anyone who does have sort of an interest in or a need to be able to connect certainly knows about the program now, knows who to get in touch with, knows what a day is like, has heard some stories. So, I think it's been great to have you guys here.
Thank you.
What kinds of is there any sort of closing story that you would love to be able to tell someone in the audience, just to think about Teen Challenge and sort of leave them with a lasting impression of the organization?
Teen Challenge is here with arms extended to provide hope to people who think that they're hopeless, for loved ones or family members who struggle with substance abuse, that there is hope, there is help available, and we're here and we're willing and we're ready, and that's what we have to say.
Yeah. And Jay, from
Yes.
the East Bay.
Well,
The story's the same, probably. But
yes, it is. She stole my material. So, but yes, we are definitely available. We're willing to work with many people from every walk of life.
Yes.
We get phone calls again all the time. You know, whether it's from a probation officer, whether it's from a concerned mother or a concerned wife, or something things of that nature. So we are always there to do to intervene and to help when they want the help.
Absolutely.
that's marvelous. And Yashna, Nicole, do you have any final words about Teen Challenge that you'd like to share?
No one's too far gone to receive help.
That's right.
And
It works. You know, if you wanted to, be willing.
That's great testimony to a program that's been around for 50 years, is a well-kept secret in the Bay Area. And on the one hand, you hope that no one needs the program, but the most important part is to know that if someone does need the program, that it is there and is open to anybody who
Absolutely.
needs the help.
Absolutely.
And as I found by going on the website, it's not that difficult to find out about the good work from the thrift centers that you've got going on in 2 places in the Bay Area. I actually looked at some of the jewelry that people were making, and I was very, very impressed. So, you know, I hope that others in our viewing audience are going to take note of a program called Teen Challenge. And I really want to thank all of you for coming and spending some time out of a day. I don't know whether this is a break from the regular routine, a bit of a break, but you know, to be able to share stories with the group is very, very important. So my thanks to Tiffany Clark, a director at Teen Challenge, 2 students, Nicole Johnson, Yashna Barrett, and also a director from the East Bay part of Teen Challenge, Jay Patterson. And on behalf of Kids Camp Presents, I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching the program. My name is Brad Whitworth, and hope you'll join us again soon for the next episode. Thank you very much.